ran for, what would it be, 3-2. Gotta go inside and pull those through my combiner box. Okay, so you can see here's my wires coming down. This is from panel or array 3. This is array 2. Array 1's already wired up. I labeled the fuses for 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, so forth. So this would be array 1 would be string 1, string 2, array 2, string 1, string 2, and so forth. That's why my labels here, it says 3, 3. This is array 3, or sorry, 2, 3. This is array 3, string 2. So, got my wires down for last array, and again they're hidden behind this panel here. I don't need to really label this one because I already have this one labeled. It's 2-2, this would be 2-1. I don't really need to label it, but I am going to tape it off because there is power running through these right now. Just put a little bit of tape on there. Alright, so later tonight when the sun goes down, I'll go ahead and wire these up. So these are my combiner boxes, goes down to the disconnect, goes over to my charge controllers. My charge controllers, I haven't wired this part yet, goes back over to my 100 amp disconnects from this. It'll go into my combiner bus bar down here below my main inverter switches. And then from this same bus bar, we'll go down to the batteries. From my negative bus bar, we'll go down to the batteries also. I figured out how I'm going to do my batteries as well. I'm going to line them all up along the wall here. I'm going to line them all up along here in rows of 2. So it will go, we're going to start this in, it'll go down, horseshoe around, and then come back so that my positive and negatively will end up on this side. There are 24 2-volt batteries. There are 1,150 amp hours, which I figured would get us about a day and a half to 2 days of full usage, and we should probably get 4 to 5 days or longer if we do conserving. So we look at the weather, we know it's going to be a very cloudy week. We can conserve a little bit. Of course, we're going to have a generator backup as well, and my generator wires would hook into these. These are my generator breakers. These are my inverter breakers. These are my bypass breakers. So my generator leads would hook onto those, and I do have an automatic generator start, but we don't have a generator set up for that just yet. Hey, the sun is down. So I just finished up wiring my last 2 combiner boxes, and when the sun was still up, I went ahead and ran my main wires from the charge controllers down. I had to do some unique stuff with this to make it work. I'll show you that here in a minute. But first, in the combiner boxes, the only thing I have left to do is to put my fuses in there. So my positive lines come in, got everything labeled. There's my 1 and 2, this is box 3. We got a 3 down there, 2 and 1. So again, this is my array 1, array 2, array 3, string 1, string 2, and then I wrote it on here, string 1, string 2. Got my surge arrestor in there. This is the combiner bar, so the 2 or bus bars combines them. So my 2 positive leads come in, go through the fuses, go into the combiner bar, come out. These are 10 gauge wires. This is a 6 gauge wire. Goes down, over, down into here. Can't really see it, but this is labeled 1, 2, and 3. You can kind of see it, I guess. Need to do a better marker for that. So here's my lead coming in there. Comes out down there, loops around, up through here, through the back, which is kind of hard to see there, and comes up into right there. So this is my 3rd. So 1, 2, 3, everything is done left to right. So again, first array, second array, third array, and then my different strings are labeled separately as well. So inside here, let me grab this light. I'll run this generator for much longer, I hope. Okay, so inside here, I ran into a dilemma in that these plastic divider, these Lexan barriers, are not supposed to be removed. Reason being is that the voltage on the right, the smaller wire, is coming in at 600 volts, where the voltage going out on the left is only at 48 volts. They don't want to have those next to each other. Now, according to NEC code, was it 301C or C1, something like that? I'll reference that here. What are you doing, Bailey Boo? What are you doing, Bailey? She's been out chasing coyotes. According to that, you can actually have everything in the same compartment and then the same wireway, which is what this is down here, same conduit and everything. But through talking to some other people doing off-grid stuff, and trying to get some other advice, people who use the same system, is they thought that if you think about it, the jumpers up here are most likely not rated. So the reason why you can put them in the same before is because, I don't know if you can see that, but right in front on the black wire it says 600 volts. And then on those smaller wires it says 600 volts too. I can't get a good picture of one of those. I don't see any of those either, but basically that's the insulation. So both of those wires are rated at 600 volts. It means that anything under 600 volts, it's not going to get out of that insulated wire. Anything over 600 and it could. So by having a 48 volt and a 600 volt next to each other, because the power coming from my grid is roughly 600 volts, they can be next to each other because they're insulated, rated to that 600 volt max. But I don't know if they are right up in here. I don't know if those green plastic ones are rated. So I went ahead and found a way to put the plastic back in. As you can see, I drilled a hole through that one and through that one, so I could run them all through, and then I ran them down. Now the problem with that is, of course, this panel is no longer fully removable, but you can see I got it set off to the side right now. Now I can just turn this and then slide it up into place, so it still works. That's the only thing I could figure out, and I don't really like the way it looks, but there's no other way around that if I'm going to be able to have this, be able to slide down in case I ever need to service this in the future. I could have run them into this pipe over here, which was my original plan. However, I figured, you know what, if I'm going to keep everything separated up here, I'm going to keep everything separated down here. So everything's separated out here. So these black lines on my right are my 48 volts going over to, I have those labeled and taped together for array 1, 2, and 3. And they're coming up. There are my my negatives going up, and they're labeled 1, 2, 3. My positive wires coming up and down, they're labeled 1, 2, 3, and it's labeled 1, 2, 3 is there as well. I am going to have to replace this breaker on the right. When I was tightening it, the back of it just snapped. So I wasn't tightening it very hard, but I don't know if it would be an issue or not. But you can see back there on the right, you can see metal where the plastic broke off. So if I can find a replacement, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I ran a quick search online. All I could find was used ones on eBay. I'd rather have something not used. But so tomorrow, I'm going to put my fuses in there tonight. I did test the array on the left, the number 1 array, and it was pulling 300 volts, or 309 volts actually, or 308 volts per side. So that's over that 600 volt rating, but your panels, or your solar panels, will degrade over time. So I don't expect it to stay that high for too long. So tomorrow, see, all this is hooked up. Tomorrow I'm going to need to mount my breaker box, or my load center, in the room below. So I'm going to come off here and go straight down. I got to set up my batteries in the horseshoe, so it'll go down, loop around, and come back. So I'll have a positive and negative right here at this end, so I can run those battery terminals up. One will go, this is hard to do with no hands. One will go on this bus bar right here. This will be the positive, and then my negative will go on that bus bar right there. Also, one thing I need to do is these breakers are the breakers for the charge controllers. I have to run those out the bottom, and they have to hook into this bus bar as well, so I still need to do that tomorrow as well. But I've got these split up on these 3 tubes. The one on the right is everything from the charge controllers. The middle one's going to go to my load center in the house, and the left one is going to be from the battery, so they'll all be separated out. I've already run all my ZAN bus cables, so all these are connected. I still have to, I'm going to run a line down. I don't want the controller to be up here. I'm actually going to put it somewhere. Well, maybe I should have it up here just because, I guess I will put it up here because there's an app that I can use to access all this anyways. But I may need to be up here to mess with these controls at the same time, not sure yet. So I'll probably leave it up here for now, but I can always reroute that down lower later. But it's all pretty much coming together. Just got a few more things to do, and then we'll finally have our solar power set up. I went ahead and wired these up real quick. I'm not doing anything right now, so I took this breaker off, and it looks like it was just the plastic that cracked, and I didn't see anything. This top terminal was actually still pretty tight, so I went ahead and put it back in. It didn't seem like anything was wrong with it. It was you know, still tripping the way it's supposed to and everything, so I think we're good to go there. But just note, you know, make sure you hang on to these terminals when you're tightening them up. So I'm sitting here scratching my head this morning trying to figure out how to run wires down to my load center. So you notice my blue lights are on now for my surge arresters, so that's good. Got power coming to them from the panels. I was going to run the batteries up this side and then to my load center down this side, go right through the floor, and then run everything under the floor over to my load center, which is right below this bay right there. Problem with that is that I have a lot of bends. You know, I'm going to run 2-aught wire, which is pretty stiff, and I would have a lot of bends to get over to it. I think I counted at least five 90-degree angles to get there, and that's going to be it's going to be hard to pull that wire through. Plus, I'd have to find a way to drill through all of my ceiling joists or floor joists. I'm standing on them for the room below. So what I've decided to do is, instead of going down, I'm actually going to go up. So I've got to drill a hole there, which is really not something I'm looking forward to, because I've got all this electrical stuff wired, and now I've got to drill another hole, which is going to put metal shavings everywhere. So I don't quite know how I'm going to do that. My best thought is that I'm just going to put a piece of plastic in here, tape everything off. I can probably slip a board in here to keep stuff going this way. Maybe even run a vacuum up here while I'm doing it. Something to try and keep those metal shavings from going everywhere. But they don't give me a large enough knockout up here to do that. So I'm just going to have to basically drill a hole right there. Then I'll have a 90 coming up, and it's actually going to turn this way. And I'm going to loose lay my wires along that floor joist, and I will go ahead and strap them in. Then it will go below my stiff back here, pop out below my stiff back, run down along the side here, attach to the stiff back. I'll put a 90, turning it down. It'll be in conduit as it goes down. It'll have to 45 through that wall, 45 down, 45 back over, and 45 down again into the top of the load center, which is just below there. That seems to be the easiest way I can figure out how to do it. Getting through those 45 and those 90s is not that big of a deal. I got the batteries set up, so my negatives on this side will run down, across, all the way back down, and then I will run my leads over and up into the power distribution panel. So these copper bus bars that I made, I ordered another one so I can hook those two together back there. I've got to hook that one together and hook these together. So I ordered a 4-foot bar. Should get here later on this week. And then I can finally get that set up and finalized. Okay, still haven't gone anywhere. It's in here scratching my head. I think the best solution is going to be, instead of going up, I'm going to go down like I planned. I'm going to run this way, pop out this end cap, go over and up, and I'm going to mount the load center right here instead of down below. It's a big load center. It's 42.5 or 43.5 inches tall. They would fit from about that line down to about that line, I believe, which gave me a little bit of room up above to maneuver. And then in between these two, I can build a panel out like I did on these, like I did right there, build that out, do the exact same thing. And then I can mount all my controllers for the panels there. I can come out this side right there, that's the protected part for the ZAN bus. I can come out, have a panel, and I can mount everything right there. That'll look pretty good. I also got to run my battery temperature sensor. So I can come out that corner and just drop that onto one, or I should be able to come out maybe this one over and down. Each one of these has a battery sensor on it, and according to the directions you can actually hook all of them up, and it will take the highest reading from whichever one's reading the highest reading is the one that it will use. When I talked to the company that I bought this from, they said just to put in one, so I'm not really sure what the best option here is. But if I did it, I've got a battery temp sensor there and a battery temp sensor there, so I could actually drop them both down. I could put one on that side and one on this side. This may not be a bad idea. But running those is no big deal. I'm also a little confused because in all the instructions I've seen, it shows the gateway on this side and it shows all the controller stuff on that side, but then the instructions say you can put them in line any way you want and they'll figure it out. So I don't know what the best option there is. Because I'm putting all my control stuff over there, it would make sense to put the gateway on that side as well, but I guess it doesn't matter if I pipe it out and stick it on the wall there, so I don't know. Not sure what the best option is there, but anyways, I'm satisfied now that I'm going to run that over and up. I think that'll be the easiest option. It puts everything in one spot here, easy to get to, and then running my wires won't be too difficult. I can come out of the box, get into here, and I can run that all the way down and spread out throughout the house. I think that'd be the easiest option. So finally, I think I'm ready to go to the store and get the parts I need and get working on this. I'm going to do a quick tip on rolling out copper wire. This is a number 4. Ooh. Don't fall off your ladder is the first thing you do. Get that up my hole there. So if you just try to unroll this yourself, so I get full of kinks, if you lay it against something flat and unroll it, it goes a lot smoother. Rolls out nice and straight. You never want to just pull this out or it will really kink bad and you'll never get it straight again. Well, that was the end of that. I was trying to dig in for my ground wire, and I can't go deep because all this is rock. So I was beating and banging on it, trying to get 3 foot down. And I'm close, but I'm not quite there yet. And then it's like a cylinder seal on the backhoe blew out on me. But pulling up all this rock's not easy, so it did not surprise me. I'll measure it, but I don't think I'm down far enough yet. So it's always something. Start getting close and then down it goes. I got the mini out here, work on this a little bit. I'm only about 30 inches down. I need to be 36. But over here is a big rock right there. I don't want to pull it up because it probably goes under the foundation. I'm only down, I mean, maybe a foot right there. So the plan is I'm just going to start digging back into the hill until I get down as deep as I can. And I'll just have to get an extension on my ground wire right here and bury it all the way out until I can get at least 3 foot or maybe even 4 foot down. I thought I was going to get lucky because as I was digging, I'm 3 foot down there, so I'm good. As I was going along, I hit this hole and I started working down into it. But hoping that I can get the rod straight down into there, but that's only about maybe a little over 4 feet down, 4.5 feet probably. That's weird, it just all of a sudden drops off right here in between these two rocks. It just started digging down. And then I took out a huge rock right there. I can't get under this one. See, that sucker just keeps going and going and going. So I'm probably not going to be able to pop that one up. That's already a foot thick right there. So I'm deep enough now so I can go ahead and come out from the house, get out here and lay my rod 3 feet down and run a wire and be good. I may poke around in here just to see if maybe I can, if that soft spot goes any deeper. That'd be nice if I could get 8 feet right there. Well, I got that rod down pretty good actually. That's an 8 foot rod. I actually just put it in the bucket and just pushed that sucker down. I got it down in there about a foot, hopped on the bucket, went down until it started to bend a little bit. So from there I'm just gonna bend that sucker over and I'll be good. So I'm about I'm only a foot above the ground right now, so I'm about seven feet down of the 8 feet I need to be. So I'm gonna push that over and get my wire and call it a day. Glad I found that hole. That makes things a little bit easier.